Welcome to the Prospect Warehouse podcast. You got your host here, Tim Kanak at Fantasy Aceball on the X. And today you've got Jon Anderson at John PGH. No doc right now. We just had a doc one last night and got a special guest coming on another one this week. So it'll be a fun one for you peoples. And John, look at this. I'm wearing a hoodie.
Yeah.
Can you believe this?
That's
I'm
what
wearing a hoodie.
I was actually going to bring it up because not your hoodie. I didn't even realize that you're usually not wearing it. What are you usually wearing?
Usually I'm just wearing like a regular shirt, usually like a fishing shirt or something like that, like long sleeve UV fishing shirt, because despite it being December, it is generally still pretty hot here in Florida, except today it was in the 50s. So I put a hoodie on.
Oh yeah. The weather thing. I see what you're going for. So my thing is, it's strange. This has been in my head this morning. Let me show you this dude. You know this Jim? Is this Jim Bowden or whatever? This guy?
Oh yeah, the GM, the former GM.
His voice is really annoying, but it's not his fault. I don't want to. We got to be careful about we got to make fun of people for the right things that they can control, right? It's not cool to dislike someone for things they can't change.
He could just smoke a lot of cigarettes.
It's more it's more acceptable to dislike people for things they can have some control over, like
his haircut,
personalities, haircuts. But the hoodie, right? Like, I don't know. I've never been a dresser, and I'm wearing a hoodie as well. But this is a small scale operation, right? We're like hobbyists. I don't know.
You're not a David Fetterman fan.
Do you miss John Fetterman? Yeah.
John Fetterman.
Yeah, of course not. But I don't know. You kind of go back and forth. Our generation is just very unformal. And in some ways, as I get older, I mean, I was the kid wearing sweatpants to school every day. Again, I'm not like the dresser, but I don't know. I feel like if you're a professional reporter, you should still be wearing a shirt and tie or something. I would honestly like to go back to the world where you are expected to wear pants and a nice shirt and stuff, even like going to the grocery store, rather than just wearing.
This is the thing. He's not a reporter. So a little background on Tim.
I didn't mean to go directly after him, but just the general topic of everybody wearing sweats and stuff now.
A little background on Timmy here. I went to the University of Missouri, which is known as like either them or Northwestern or Syracuse is the top journalism school in the country, right? Yeah. So I went to school for broadcast journalism. That's my first degree.
Look, I went to Syracuse, sort of.
Oh, there you go. We had a bunch of ballers come in. I had like Joe Buck as a professor, and like we had Jon Anderson, the other Jon Anderson, the guy who was on ESPN. We had a bunch of those guys who would come in because they all went to Mizzou. So when I was in journalism school, we had to wear a suit. Guys had to wear a suit because we were actually getting a degree in journalism. We were not there as like a former athlete or a former GM or something coming in. So we did have to wear a suit, which if you watch like local news, TV, whatever, all those guys are wearing suits, right? Because they're actual journalists, they're actual reporters. The thing is, on these big networks, like 80% of these people are not journalists. They're just bringing in former athletes, former whatever, hot girls, whatever. Like they're not bringing in journalists. You know what I mean? So those people wear whatever the heck they want because they ain't journalists. But if you went to a good journalism school like I did, you learn to wear a suit. And guess what? I have, besides funerals and weddings, I have not worn a suit since I was on NBC. And if you want a fun time, go YouTube me back when I was like a baby 15 years ago, and you can see actual old clips of me on NBC. So have fun with that.
Oh, okay. But it's not about the profession. I'm just saying if people are going to see you, I think we should dress up more. So maybe I guess I should put my money where my freaking mouth is. I have one shirt and tie, so maybe I should start wearing it here. But then I would look like a douche or something. I don't know. Like I just want to be
Lex
happy
Friedman.
either way.
You can be the Lex Friedman of fantasy sports.
I guess if you're the only one doing it, then you look pretentious. And I don't know. It just seems like we're getting way too informal and unprofessional and unserious as a cultural commentary. But again, I'm not the one to
I wear gym shorts every day, so I'm mouth shut.
Well,
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, I meet people. I'm doing like frontal sales on multi-million-dollar construction projects, and I still wear gym shorts. I don't give a crap. People hire me for this, not for whatever I'm wearing.
I know. We go with the times, but I long for the old days that I never even lived in. You know, I actually get mad. I get mad when I order. Not at this time of year. It's nice, but you order something on Amazon and it comes like the next day. I'm like, bro, I did not need this fast. You guys can freaking chill out. I kind of missed when I was a kid when it took you ordered something and you had to wait like a week or two and you had that build up and it was nice and everybody was just calm because you didn't have to, this instant gratification stuff wasn't there. And I don't know. It's good for some reasons and bad for others. But
yeah, that's why when I pay my kids to do stuff and I'll buy whatever they want and set it like on a mantle. So I'll put it on the mantle and I'll be like, look, you have to work to get this. So that's how I'm teaching them to work for goals. I put the goal right in front of their face. And like my son is obsessed with Legos. He sees Legos there. He's like, I want that. And I'm like, nope, got to earn your money first, bro. You don't get nothing until you earn your money. So that's how I do it. But anyway, we're talking about the Seattle Mariners today. John's like, let's keep this to 30 minutes. I was like, yeah, that's unrealistic. Let's try 45. And we just blew 5 minutes talking about clothing. So I'm
happy about it.
Yeah, totally worth it for sure. So let's get to the Seattle Mariners. We're going to blow through some of these guys because the Mariners, despite them kind of having a very good system, like a lot of people love this system, there's not a lot of depth to it. Like it's very top heavy. So when I do my system rankings, we'll be seeing where they actually end up because there are a lot of really, really good prospects at the top of this system, but the bottom is kind of meh. So number 20 is catcher Josh Caron, Caron, not Karen like the girl that everybody hates. Josh Caron was a 22-year-old catcher in high A. Actually, they traded Harry Ford, so now you got a chance. So Harry Ford off this list now, in top 10 on the Nationals now. But Josh Caron, 9 homers, 11 steals. So there is a little bit of power speed here. If you're looking at the F scores, you got a 101 power, 101 hit.
What do you think about that new approach? You see, I took a screenshot and uploaded it as an image instead. How about that?
I like that. That's pretty sexy. So Josh Caron, pretty decent for power speed across the board here for catcher. Strikes out way too much, 29% K rate, hence the 87 discipline score. So if he fixes the discipline, this might be like a backup catcher someday. So this is number 20.
Okay.
Yep. Number 19 is Dawel Joseph. He actually gets some hype here because he's a big time like DSL guy, but he actually didn't perform this year. I don't know how much money he got. If you want to Google real quick here, how much money he got, because when he came over, I'm pretty sure this dude got paid as like a top guy. But he's known for his speed.
$3 million.
$3 million, pretty solid for a Dominican guy. But he's a speed guy, and did very terribly. 186, 370, 286 slash in his second shot at DSL. So this was his second round of DSL. Atrocious contact rates. Literally, John, he had a 47.9% contact rate in the DSL this year. So less than 50% of the swings he is making contact on, which is like a record low of any of these guys that we've talked about. But the dude did get paid. He can take a walk. So despite his terrible contact skills, he can take a walk and he can steal bags when he gets on. So 20 steals, 70 grade speed is what, his main calling card was. But like I said, the system is top heavy. He has pedigree. He's been very, very, very bad so far, but he is only 18. So I guess we'll give him another couple of years because the system ain't good enough to, pop any Ryan Wards out to jump this guy in the system, basically. So, John, where we left off when the internet crashed is Dawel Joseph. I asked you how you love that sexy below 50% contact rate.
Yeah, I can't say it's good. It's kind of important to hit the ball. And even I don't know how small of a sample that you would even forgive that, but what was it? It was significant, right?
It was 52 games, 161 at-bats.
That's so bad. What's he doing? I don't know.
Not hitting the ball.
I'd say we could probably forget about him and never think about him again.
Yeah, he at least he made $3 million, bro. So $3 million. Hopefully he didn't spend it all. Number 18, Jared Sundstrom. Talking about Vikings the other day. This is a cool name, Sunstrom. Outfielder for Double-A, 24-year-old. Nice power speed combo. Again, bad hit tool, 219, 297, 374 slash. But he did have 12 bombs and 35 steals, and he's pretty efficient on the base paths. So, there is a little bit of funness to him because there's power and speed, but contact rates, again, are about 64%. Got a hit to get on base. Can't be striking out all the time. You see a 104 power, 100 hit, 121 speed, but that 90 discipline. And this is why plate discipline matters, people, and why contact rates matter. Because you can have all the power and the speed in the world, but if you can't get on base and you can't make contact with the ball, none of that matters.
29.7% K rate in a pretty much full year in AA. Yeah, good. When he's getting to it. ISO 155, that extra base hit plus 143, but a lot of work to do. 63% contact rate, some steals though. So I don't know. What is it harder to add power or add contact? Do you ever see these low minor league guys that have super high K rates, kind of figure it out? I'm sure it's not impossible, but
yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I would say that the hit tool is the hardest. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
You could take steroids and get bigger, but how much bigger? The thing is how even if all you do is work out, how much power can you really add? A point, maybe a 5 grade or a 10 grade. I feel like a lot of it is just natural ability. And then hit tool, if you have bad reflexes, it doesn't matter. How long has Joey Gallo been trying to figure it out, but he can't do it. So it's I feel like hit tool is a little bit more important, but power is hard to add. Plate discipline is the one thing that I feel like someone could get really good at just by trying a lot harder or by a lot of practice would be that discipline skill. Whereas speed, power, contact, some of those things are innate ability. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of this is hand-eye coordination, vision. I think we underestimate how important it is, just your vision. Maybe some of these guys probably just don't see as well as they could. My wife was a vision therapist in the past, and that's where all athletics starts, right? Is being able to see the ball. So, I'm not making any claims about Jared Sundstrom, but if you can't see the ball out of the hand, you have no chance. And maybe that's what's going on with some of these high K rates.
Yep, for sure. Number 17, middle infielder Leandro Romero, another DSL guy here. This guy actually could hit. He had a 304, 367, 557 slash in the DSL, which is pretty solid. Second time through, though, 129 WRC plus with 9 home runs and 6 stolen bases. So actually pretty interesting, despite, again, a bad contact tool, 63% of contact. But that's still much better than the 47 or whatever we were getting from Dawel. So Leandro Romero may be interesting as a DSL guy. Again, though, he was older. It was his second time through. Still had a 21.9% swinging strike rate, which is not good, but at least had a nice power speed and was able to get to over 300 batting average.
Yeah, better than the last guy, I guess. But yeah,
for sure. Number 16, Korbyn Dickerson. And this guy spells Korbyn with a K. Kind of cool way to spell it. Korbyn. That's maybe the coolest way one could spell Korbyn. Way better than with a C.
Yeah. Is he American?
He is from Indiana, dude. Bloomington, Indiana. So he's that's where he went to college anyway. So from your hood.
Right on.
Yeah, he went to IU actually. So
there's a surge of it's nothing new either. This is me screaming about the world this episode, but my son is named Lee and he's in preschool, and it's just all these kids named 3 or 4 syllables minimum, and their names all end in Sin or Lee, Tinsley, whatever. And this is a very new whatever Zoomer name, whatever it is, with a K, and Korbyn Dickerson. But yeah, okay, he went to Louisville and Indiana, so that sounds like my kind of guy.
Yeah, nice background. Indiana last year, because he was a 2025 draft pick in round 5, so didn't get paid much, but he was pretty solid last year. 19 bombs, 5 steals, over 300 batting average, and small sample size. He only played in 2 games. But he actually did all right in the 2 games, got some hits. So, F scores in 2 games don't really matter, and really stats in 2 games don't really matter. But he did get a double. So it's okay, there's a little bit of extra base hit pop here, at least in pro ball through his first little sample size here. And he had 36 extra base hits in 56 games last year for Indiana. So that's pretty solid extra base hit plus for college style right there for Korbyn Dickerson. So this is a fun name to watch. He was a redshirt sophomore. So as a 22-year-old outfielder coming up with the system, not a lot of hype, not a lot of pedigree, but I think that, he was really good at Indiana last year, and it might be a name to watch as like a pop-up guy. So number 15 is starting pitcher Michael Morales. So Michael Morales is the first pitcher that we're talking about out of this crop here. And the Mariners are pretty good at developing pitchers. So keep that in mind with a lot of these pitchers, is that the Mariners have a very, very fine track record of developing their guys. Logan Gilbert, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu, like all these guys are, came from their system. So Michael Morales, though, not good stuff. This is more of like your Emerson Hancock type grouping than the guys that I just mentioned. 82 F stuff is pretty terrible. 103 control, 94 ERA. Very not great fastball, but he does pitch a lot of innings. So in 2024, he had 149 innings in the minors with a 17.9 K- walk rate. This year, 101 and 2/3. So this dude is an innings eater, and he doesn't walk a lot of guys. So he might be like this quadruple A swingman type pitcher who actually does like play in the majors, but is not good a la like Emerson Hancock. So like this could just be like a classic 6 starter mold for Michael Morales here.
Yeah. What's
not fun for fantasy, but I mean, like the guy is probably going to make the majors, so that counts for something.
Is that you think these guys have reasonable like self-awareness that like he's thinking my goal is just to get a major league contract, or do these guys all think they can be like superstars? I wonder.
Probably when you're throwing in the low 90s and then everybody else around you is throwing 100, I would think you would know. And I mean, the guy has 5 pitches, so he probably already knows like, hey, if I'm going to make it, I have to be a little crafty here. I've got to throw the ball in the zone. I've just got to get outs in any way I can. I can't be trying to strike guys out. So I think like there are guys that have self-awareness. Like this guy's upside is like Kyle Gibson career, right?
Oh,
so
man.
like, hey, Kyle Gibson pitched
right.
for like 10 years. So
he'd be very happy. Anybody would be happy to have a Kyle Gibson career if it's you, but for us,
yeah.
Here's an admission. This is be embarrassing, but I got a positive comment from somebody who gave us feedback, and he said, I appreciate that Jon doesn't pretend to know what he's talking about, so speaking of self-awareness, but I'm really gonna, undress myself here. I don't know what 35/35 is trying to tell me.
Okay. So basically a 20 grade is like, this guy sucks.
So this is on, well, for the people not watching this, I see fastball 35/35, and Tim's going to tell me what that means.
Yeah. So a 35 fastball means that you're probably throwing in the low 90s. So actually, let's look it up right here. I just know me looking at that.
But is there a max? This is a scale thing, right? But there's 2 numbers, and they all.
Yeah. So 35 is your potential, and the 35 is like where you're at. So his maximum velocity
60?
that he's hit is 94. That's the highest he's ever thrown a fastball. That means if you're topping 94, you're probably throwing in the low 90s. If you're at 20 fastball, you're throwing like Jamie Moyer, basically.
What's the max?
Max, it would be an 80. So an 80 fastball would mean that you're throwing like Paul Skeens, like over 100 all the time, which I don't even think like nobody gets, like most guys don't get 80 grades. To get an 80 grade, you're like Hall of Fame. That's like an elite grade. That means you are a superstar if you have an 80 on like anything in that one category. So like to get like an for instance, like O'Neal Cruz probably would have like an 80 raw power because he hits the ball so hard, but his game power would not be 80. But I only do one power grade. I don't like game power and raw power. Like I just put it as one thing. Because like you have to really like know like, okay, game power is going to translate to like actually the stats are going to put up, and raw power is just like how hard are they hitting the ball basically.
Right. So it's 80. I guess I've heard the term 80 grade. So I guess I would have known that, but I didn't understand the giving us 2 numbers. So one is current, one is potential.
Yep, one is potential. Okay. Exactly. So like when you see my grades on my things, the first one is what they're currently at, and then the second one is what I think that they can get to. And 50 is like a major league regular. So like 50 isn't bad. It means that they're like just 100 WRC plus on that tool or whatever, right? So let's get to number 14, Nick Becker. So Nick Becker was a draft pick for the Mariners this year. He's a big shortstop. I think he's like 6'4". Out of high school. Yeah, 6'4", 190, drafted out of high school and already debuted at A-ball. So that kind of shows you how much they like him, that they popped him right into A-ball instead of having him hang at Bridge League. But this guy got 2.75, second rounder, really toolsy. Again, small sample size, so his stats don't really matter in his debut here. But he's considered as like a really good runner. Like for whatever reason, Fangraphs only gives him a 50 on the speed, but I've seen people giving him like 70s and 80s. That's how fast he is. So really fast and big dude means that he could get into some interesting tools that have not really developed yet. You see 25 game power. It's because he's a kid, right? He's still friggin' 18 years old and 19 years old, whatever. So like he's a kid, but he has some fun power speed potential. I mean, his high school stats don't really matter. It's like, oh, he hit 400 in high school. It's like, okay, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? It's high school. So what is that going to tell you? But Nick Becker does have interesting abilities here. His small sample size, only 53% contact. So that's not great, but you know what? 6 games. It's like, who cares? So, but fun guy with a lot of potential here for Nick Becker.
Okay. Let's go to Teddy.
All right, Teddy McGraw. I think he's related to Tim McGraw, the country guy, and I think Tim McGraw is related to a baseball player McGraw. Or there's a family thing here, I think, with Teddy McGraw. But he went to Wake Forest, drafted in 2023. Has dealt with some injuries through his career. 2024, he only pitched 8 innings. I don't know if I'm pretty sure he got Tommy John. But Teddy McGraw, 20.8% K- walk rate this last year. So if you want to pull him up here on the F scores, fastball, slider, changeup guy for Teddy McGraw.
First. Pulling up the family
chart. He's related. I want to say that he's related, but I might be wrong.
So it says. What is he's Tim McGraw's son, Tug's grandson?
Yeah, Nick McGraw was a big baseball guy because he's like related. So, but Teddy McGraw, interesting name. Finally healthy. Throws mid 90s, so he's throwing like 94 to 98, and he has a really good slider. So like potential 60 grade slider, 102 stuff, 115 control, 97 FERA. So pretty solid, interesting pitcher here. You see the splits. I don't know, kind of weird to have reverse splits like that. 1.8 JAERA against lefties as their right-handed thrower, and then a 4.43 against righties. So you got some interesting reverse split stuff going on here. But pretty interesting fastball slider. Probably at least a reliever. And he went to Wake Forest in a 3rd-round pick. So it's not just the whole Tim McGraw thing. This guy actually has some pedigree, too, in his background. Teddy McGraw, 24 years old now. So he, because he had Tommy John. So, like, he is a little bit older for the level. We'll see how he progresses here now that he's healthy. Only 20 innings last year. Number 12, Yorger Bautista. The international class from last year, this was like one of the top guys right behind Josue or Josuar Gonzalez. So Yorger Bautista, a lot of pedigree here. I think he got paid over a $4 million. So talking about, paying guys, but he was not good. So kind of like Dawel. But at least he was 17 in the DSL, 223, 326, 404 slash, 7 home runs, 10 steals. So at least he did get to some power and speed, but 58% contact rate in the DSL, not good. So Yorger must make contact. I don't know if he's going to repeat DSL again or if he's going to be a complex to start the year next year, but there is a lot of pedigree here for Yorger Bautista. They paid him a lot of money. So he is at least a very interesting name, despite not having a good season contact-wise in the minors this year.
Jorgger sounds like he should be stumpy Cuban guy.
That sounds semi-Russian, but he's from Venezuela, so I guess There's a little communism going on around there. So yeah, number 10. This is the guy I said you need to pull up, John. So get ready. Jurrangelo Cijntje. This is
you skipped someone named Luis
Suisbel.
Oh,
dude, I'm just skipping guys. This is the second and
I shouldn't have stopped you. I want to get through this, but
Suisbel is actually good. So Luis Suisbel, corner infielder. This guy might be a major leaguer, so he kind of matters a little bit. So I guess Jorgger could too. So Suisbel has good power. First base, third base guy, 23 bombs. Pull up his F scores here. 23 bombs in the minors. 211 batting average with 23 bombs. So we got good power here. 112 power, 103 hit tool, 89 discipline, too many strikeouts. 71% contact is why his hit tool is still good. And he makes good quality of contact. So a lot of fly balls, a lot of line drives. He's not hitting the ball on the ground. That's going to improve his contact skill. And he also pulls the ball, 50% pull rate. So a lot of pull here. So he's getting to good angles, and he hits the ball hard, but he's just not, a decent contact rate, but he just strikes out a lot is his biggest issue. So 16% swinging strike rate is pretty terrible. Dude needs to learn the strike zone. I mean, he needs to go hang out with Brandon Nimmo or someone to learn the strike zone a little bit, and he could be good. So that's Luis Suisbel. Switch hitter, and third base sucks for prospects. So this guy kind of matters because could be a third base.
Won't a lot of those shortstops move over? Isn't that the path?
Yes, a lot of those guys, the bigger guys, will probably move to third, and then so a lot of shortstops will be moving off, but a lot of like guys who come up as a third baseman kind of suck. So this guy's probably top 10 third base prospect. Okay. Number 10. Here's Jurrangelo Cijntje. Have fun pronouncing that.
Yeah, there's no way. Is that? I mean, are you guessing or is that?
I've heard people say it, but I'm just not good at it. Like I can do Spanish names, but this guy's like quite obviously like straight from Africa or something with that kind of name. But this dude got $5 million out of first round pick last year. Out of Mississippi State. He throws with both arms. This guy is the switch pitcher. He throws it. Yeah.
Look at the numbers first, and then I'll get some.
Yeah, we need to throw a little S on the throwing there. But he's much better as a right-handed pitcher than as a left-handed pitcher. 100 F stuff, 103 F control, 102 F ERA. Not great this year.
Yeah, look at that. That's funny. Throws right, throws.
He was not great this year. 3.55 JA ERA. Like he was not as good as you would expect. He's way better as a righty than as a lefty. But the fact that he is a switch pitcher is really fun. Throws 98 from the right side. I think he's only throws like 94 or something from the left side. Only 94
from
the left side. Pitches are completely different. He's got sliders from both sides, and they have completely different shape. Both based on like what way he's throwing it. So like this guy's really weird.
Look at that switch.
Yeah, he did not make my top 150 prospects, but if he did, I would have to write his pitches up, like grade them from the right side and from the left side because they're completely both sides. So just pretty interesting dude.
It's like, I mean, switch hitters like Ketel Marte, right? He's a much different hitter than from the right than from the left. Jose Ramirez has always been different. That's wild though. I'd like to see this glove. How does the glove work? It's like
two thumbs and you just swap it.
Can he not catch the ball super well? Is he gonna be a bad fielder because of that? I mean,
I don't know. He's also 5'11", so he's a shorter guy. He might act, and one of the things too, based on the rules, is you can't switch mid batter. When he's facing the batter, he has to say if he's going to face them as a right-hander or as a left-hander. So I feel like the best way to utilize him would honestly be as like a long reliever, like a multi-inning long reliever, like 2 or 3 inning long reliever or something like that. Because him as a starter, I just don't know if it's really going to work out. A smaller guy, like
he would have to be. What you said, he's bad as a lefty.
Not bad. He's just worse as a lefty.
Okay,
he's much better as a righty. There's a lot of scouts out there who think he should just be righty only and just give up on the thing.
Yeah.
But he's just not as interesting if he does that. So, like from my perspective, from the video I've seen of him, I would only pitch left-handed if I'm him. If I'm versus someone who's really, really bad against lefties, like if there's like an even split guy, just face him as a righty, even if they're a lefty. But if they're really, if there's like a left-handed hitter who's really, really bad against lefties, like Owen Casey, for example, that we brought up on the last podcast when we did the Cubs, then you switch. Then you face him as a lefty because he's just so bad against lefties. That's the way that I would play it.
Yeah, you'd have to be. You'd have. Oh, look at that! There you go. There's the glove. We can get a close up of that. Where'd it go? I wanted to see that. Dang. Whatever. You can kind of see it there.
Yeah, kind of weird.
You'd have to be right. I mean, the lefty, righty advantage is, I don't know, X%, maybe 10% or something like that. So he'd have to be not more than that worse. So it's like, but the other probable thing is it's probably a somewhat of a gimmicky thing. Like he probably has a little bit more of a chance of getting called up if he can do this funky thing that will get some interest and some publicity and maybe sell some tickets or something like that. So maybe sticks with it a little longer just for that reason.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I don't think he would give it up. I mean, there are scouts who say he maybe should. I don't really see it. It works well enough that like you wouldn't fully give it up. Maybe you just don't strictly go righty, lefty. You know what I mean? So anyway, number 9. And by the way, I should preface that the Mariners are looking to trade for, like, they're really heavy in talks for Ketel Marte or for Brendan Donovan right now. So there's a good chance in like 5 days that like 2 or 3 of these guys are traded for one of those guys. So just keep that in mind. Number 9 is outfielder Tai Peete. Tai Peete is kind of a muscle hamster, but for whatever reason, he like doesn't have like the power you would expect, at least not yet. But he is young, so he should grow into it. So Tai Peete, outfielder, 106 power at high A, 99 hit, 90 discipline, 124 speed. We should be like, he has the 144 adjusted WRC plus because he was a 19-year-old in high A. The average age in high A is like 21, 22. So he was playing young for the level there, but 19 bombs and 25 steals is pretty interesting, despite 11 caught stealing. So he's not a good base runner, people. 69% stolen base rate is pretty bad. 90% last year, but that's because when last year he was playing at low A. I don't know if that's just him getting worse at base running or him facing smarter catchers or what that is, but he was not good at running the bases this year versus last year. Maybe that comes back. Maybe that's something he can fix. This guy's constantly running 30% K rates, though, so way too much swing and miss here. And his contact rate is not terrible. It's not like Spencer Jones-ian. Like he's like a 70% contact rate, so it's not terrible, especially with the tools. Like if he can get that up to like a 72, 73, 74% contact rate and then refine the base running a little bit, this is a pretty interesting prospect for Tai Peete.
Yeah, another scary strikeout rate. I don't know. I don't think I will be, after I get into this dynasty stuff, I think I'll just be avoiding all these high strikeout rate guys, try to play it a little bit safer, but I guess you give away some possible upside with those guys. Usually means you're swinging faster, but
yep,
power and speed here for sure.
Yep, for sure. Number 8 is catcher Luke Stevenson, who was a first rounder for the Mariners this last year. He's known as a hit first catcher, so this is a good fantasy catcher. So he's a power hitter. So he has recorded exit velocities over 110 miles per hour, and that's as a high school kid. So this is pretty interesting. Or I mean, sorry, that's as a college guy, but with wood bat, I think he's over 110. Drafted out of North Carolina last year, he had 19 home runs. The year before that, 14 home runs, and he did debut 22 games. So we actually do have some F scores maybe for him, John. So 22 games, he actually walked more than he struck out. So 23% walk rate, 19% strikeout rate. So we like that at A ball. Only 1 home run, 1 steal, but almost an 80% contact rate too, 79.2% contact. So pretty interesting stuff for a guy who hits the ball hard, Luke Stevenson. I would love to get like major league EVs on him. Maybe in spring we will. The problem with the A's or with the Mariners is that all their stuff is on the West Coast, so we don't have any batted ball stuff, which I guess we should mention, John, that it was announced recently that like minor league teams are going to be forced to share their StatCast data now. So maybe now we'll get more data. I mean, like, I don't know if they're going to make it fully public or like what they're going to do, but it looks like they can't just hoard all their data anymore.
You're talking about the thing from the Athletic and so I don't think that said anything about if they'll have to share it out, but it's just like it's just making every team have the same stuff. So MLB will take it over and will ensure that every team has the same data capturing technology. That's how I understood it. So
yeah, well, I guess that means that, maybe they won't hoard it, but I guess that means you won't run into rumors of EVs anymore, because now you hear like, oh, Tyson Lewis hit 120-mile-per-hour ball, but it's like, okay, that was all rumored. There's like just speculation, because it's like, okay, what technology actually picked that up?
Right. I wrote a little article about that just for fun. I think it's an interesting economic. I don't know what it is. It's not. I don't want to say ethics, because sports isn't that important, but it's like this does have the factor of, okay, we want all these organizations to be on the same playing field, which means lifting some up, and it means bringing some down. Like I don't know who the top analytical organizations are, probably the Dodgers, Rays, or something, but they might be doing stuff that they're no longer allowed to do, right? Because everything has to be equal and even, and that's kind of how it goes with forced equality, right? You're more often bringing people down rather than pushing people up. But for our purposes, it's good because there'll be more. Every stadium will have data capture. It's still up in the air if we'll get access to that or not, but probably will. And I could really juice up these dashboards. We'll have everything. We won't have these big blank spots anymore, and you'll have more accurate F scores as soon as that starts going. So that's exciting.
Yes, for sure. Number 7 is Felnin Celesten. He is a top 150 prospect for me. I had him top 100 last update, but he's falling into the top 150 because he really hasn't performed. He's like he's all hype right now. Like, there's a lot of tools here to like. Very toolsy, shooting shortstop, 6'1", 175, but just hasn't really done anything. You see like 92 extra base hit plus is subpar. He does walk a little bit, so they're like okay play skills. Probably needs to swing the bat a little bit more for Felnin, but he is young for the level, right? He came up as a 19-year-old into high A this year, so they did play him a little bit ahead in age to level. But yeah, it's right now it's like a lot of tools. He was really good in the DSL. He has reportedly had an EV of 104 in complex last year, 90th percentile. So he's at least got like average to above average power grades. There are, reports that he had 110 mile per hour exit velocities when he was in the Dominican League, but we don't have any solid data because we need all this data. We need these data things that we just mentioned. But mechanics wise, kind of looks like Gunnar Henderson at the plate. So like my call from him is a Swiss hitting Henderson plate, is what I've got on him. But like very athletic dude, good defender. Looks like a really solid shortstop. I've got a 35 to 40 hit on him, a 40 out of 50 plate approach, a 40 out of 55 power, and a 55 out of 60 speed tool. So like very well-rounded, above average, solid player who could probably be a starting shortstop in the major leagues in a few years, as long as he actually like starts doing stuff up to his ability.
Yeah.
Scores are kind of average, like just kind of across the board for the tools that he has. Like he hasn't popped. Like the tools have not popped yet, but like it's still there.
A little bit of everything. 20-year-old, but 20 years old. It's still man, we're so far away on so many of these guys, but this is the game we're playing.
No, don't worry. Here we get into top 100. So the next 6 guys are all top 100 prospects for me. Number 6 is Jonny Farmelo. Farmelo, his biggest issue is just injuries. This guy can't stay on the field. I've got him in my next rankings update. He's number 67 is my prospect range for him.
So they got 6 guys in your top 67.
Marin, I told you, very top heavy system. So Jonny Farmelo is my comp from is Charlie Blackmon. This dude is really good when he plays, just has been very injured lately. See a 110 power, 99 hit, 102 discipline, 109 speed, 126 extra base hit plus. He was hurt a lot this year in a very inconsistent season, and then he also struck out a lot more this year than he did in the past. Part of that may be due to the injury, so I don't want to say that he's like a strikeout guy, because in 2024 he had a 16% walk rate and a 23% K rate. This year his walk rate went down to 10 and his K rate went up to almost 30. So like just because of the inconsistencies that he saw, I'm not going to write him off, because his contact rate last year in 2024 was 80%. And it dropped down to 65 this year. So it's like I'm not willing to just drop him off because of an inconsistent injury year. You know what I mean? So like, while I will ding him a little bit in my rankings because I did have him top 50 going into the year, like, so he is dinged a little bit in the rankings. Like, I'm not going to just fully like blow up and say, this guy can't hit anymore, blah, blah, blah. He's just selling out for power. I think just a lot of that has to do with the injuries. But tools wise, because like, for instance, this year or last year, he tore his ACL. This year he had a rib cage injury, so that really affects his rotation, which is going to definitely affect your hit tool. But hit, I give him a 35 out of 55 because like his hit was bad this year, but like we've seen 80% contact rates for him. Plate approach, I give him a 40 out of 60, power a 50 out of 55, and a speed of 55 out of 65. So a very well-rounded potential player here for Jonny Farmelo. Interesting dude. Will be a major leaguer as long as he can stay healthy.
And that's he swung 10 points higher, 45% up from 35% last year, and it didn't go well. Maybe you should find a middle ground. But yeah, it's a fair point about hard to analyze a guy in a short year with an injury involved, especially you said ribs. I got some bruised ribs during the Turkey Bowl this year, and I can't imagine having to swing a bat after that. And mine wasn't even that bad, so someone to watch early on. Check that strikeout rate in May or June.
Yep. Number 5 is outfielder Lazaro Montes. Montes is kind of just ahead of him in my top 150. I got him at 65. So Montes is basically all power. Everybody calls him Baby Jordan. Like, people like to comp him to Jordan because of the mechanics. But to me, I think he's more of like a Matt Olson-y type profile. Like, my comp from is shades of an outfielder version of Matt Olson. I think he's up in 2027. He's always been young for the level. You see the 159 adjusted WRC plus, making AA as a 20-year-old this year. But power, it's 60 out of 70 on the power tool for him. I only give him a 30 out of 40 on the hit because the contacts are down in the low 60s. Boom. Look at that. This guy has mad power. He has had a 116 max EV and a 106.3 90th percentile EV reportedly. And this guy's an extra base machine. Was he a 150 on that extra base hit plus, John? Because he's got he had 58 extra base hits in 131 games this year. I bet he maxed out on that.
Yes.
150, yeah, extra base hit plus, max it out. So Montes is an extra base hit beast, gonna hit a bunch of home runs. The biggest question for him is the contact rates. Like, if he can keep his contact rates in like the high 60s, low 70s, that's actually okay for a power hitter. You can live with that. But if it dips down to Spencer Jones levels, like that AA 59.7, then we're going to run into some problems. So he's got to control the contact. I'm going to give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt because he's young for the level. So I think once he gets more like age adjusted, the contact can kind of trend back to 65 to 70% range, which is perfectly fine. Because like I said, like a lot of power hitters like a Matt Olson, they're running lower contact rates, but it's fine if you're going to do that kind of damage. So
yeah,
that's Montes.
I mean, Ohtani and Judge have bad contact rates, so it's not a death sentence by any means. He was at 28% against righties, which would probably be kind of where that's better, right? Like even the best left-handed power hitters do most of it against righties, and that's you get 75-80% of your plate appearances against righties, unless you're out there every day, no matter what. But sure, if you can keep a K in the mid 20s as a power hitting left-hander, it doesn't really matter too much what you do against lefties. So that's probably a good sign.
Yep, and 32 home runs this year. Pretty good for being a 19-year-old to AA who made it all the way to AA, I would say. So pretty impressive. Number 4 on the list. This is a guy that I love. I want the Cardinals to trade Brendan Donovan for this guy. That's how much I love him. It's Ryan Sloan, number 56 on my rankings. Starting pitcher, picked out of high school. Back in, I guess, 2024. Now at this point, F scores 106 stuff, 122 control, 108 FERA, 263 JA ERA. Made it up to high A as a 19-year-old pitcher this last year. My comp for Ryan Sloan is Chris Carpenter with a slider instead of a curve. Is my comp. So I even comped him to a Cardinal. That's how much I like this guy. He's huge, 6'5", 220 pounds. Throws his fastball 95 to 99. I gave him a 60 grade out of 60 on the fastball. He also throws a sweeper that he throws 80 to 85 miles an hour. I give him a 55 out of 60 on the sweeper. He's got a gyro slider that he throws 93 to 94. I give him a 55 out of 60 on that gyro slider. And then he's got a splitter, 85 to 88 mile per hour splitter. I give him a 55 out of 65 on the splitter, and his command is so good. You saw that 122 F score on the command for a young pitcher. That's amazing. I gave him a 60 out of 70 on the command for Ryan Sloan. So I'm a big time Ryan Sloan guy. This elite command, really good pitch, like 4 really good pitches. Like this guy profiles as a really good number 1 or number 2 starter for a long time, as long as he can avoid injury. And you gotta love the size too. So like this guy has really like everything you want in an upper tier pitcher.
High floor, if he can.
Yes.
Find a spot. I guess Luis Castillo wouldn't be around for too much longer, and injuries. Brian Wu is going to have Tommy John at some point, right? Knock on wood. So there should be a spot. The best thing I think about getting AA, single A, high A, play-by-play Statcast data would be the pitch types, because that's a big miss. I mean, if we had at least pitch mix and like stats per pitch data, that'll be a big add, especially because you do the diligence to get that, and that's a big
watch
part
video. I have to watch a bunch of video, and I'm literally keeping notebook.
Really?
Yeah, literally, wow. I'll watch video on these guys, and then when I'm doing these write-ups, and if we don't have like Arsenal data, and I'll keep a notebook, and I'll literally write down miles per hour of like the pitch that I'll write down what pitch they threw and how many miles per hour, and I'll just go through video doing that, so that gives me a good range of their velocity on their pitches. And then it also gives me a good idea of how good their pitches are, and like when they're throwing their pitches, and like how often they're throwing it, and that kind of thing. So that's how I do this. Is like that literally is like
patience. You take
yes.
Everything I have is like, if I can't get it in an instant with a line of code, I don't care. So
this is why, John, if you ask me, like, dude, how come it's taking you so long to write up these prospect write-ups? You're only doing like 10 a day when you can. No, you haven't. But I'm just you might. Right. I'm assuming you have thought this. You know, like how come it takes Tim so long to write this when like I can write a giant article in 45 minutes when my wife is sleeping or whatever?
My bigger
because
question,
I'm not just writing. I'm literally I have to watch all this video and crap too. So
yeah, so. My bigger question is, why have you been doing all of this work? You really love this stuff. I mean, you're making a little, like, comparatively to your career, this is no money, but it's all about the love. So
yes. Well, I guess someday when I sell my business for 8 figures or whatever, then hopefully I can. So I'll work for I'll come to a team and I'll be like, hey, you pay all my expenses, pay for my food, pay for my gas, give me enough money so I can buy my wife presents, and then I'll come scout for you.
Or you buy MLB Data Warehouse, pay me a salary,
or that.
Probably not.
Or that. There are options, but I've got 7 companies that all kind of tie in together, and trying to sell 7 companies together as one package is a lot harder than trying to sell one company. I'll tell you that. So next, number 3 on the list is a second baseman, Michael Arroyo. Michael Arroyo, very interesting. Some people like him, some people don't like him. He's above average at everything. This is why he's interesting, is because he doesn't really have one elite standout tool. He's just above average at everything. He's young for the level, and he plays second base, which is like the worst position for fantasy. So like being above average at everything for second base is nice. And this guy's going to be like a really good points leagues player, I would say. You see here a 150 extra base hit plus. So big time doubles guy, 109 power, 102 hit tool, 105 discipline, 99 speed, 150 adjusted WRC plus, because just like Lazaro Montes, this guy was playing in AA, young for the level, as a 20-year-old this last year. So hitter tool grades, I give him a 55 out of 55 on the hit, a 55 out of 60 on the plate approach, a 55 out of 55 on the power, and a 45 out of 45 on the speed. So you might get like 18 bombs, 8 steals, or 10 steals out of this guy with like a 280 batting average and like a 360 OBP year over year as a second baseman. Pretty solid. Like, I just think he's going to be a really good, solid second baseman who's going to be really good for points leagues. He's not volatile at all. This guy does the same thing like week after week after week. When I'm doing my weekly write-up things, like this guy is one of the most consistent players. So in head-to-head leagues, you're going to love this guy because he's not going to have really crappy weeks and then really good weeks. So he's gonna be one of these head-to-head points guys that is like a lifesaver, I think. So that's Michael Arroyo with the Mariners. Oh, by the way, comp. My comp is a more athletic Ronnie Belliard build with a good Jorge Polanco-ish profile. So pretty solid.
Belliard.
Yeah, he's a fire hydrant. This guy.
Kind of crapped out at the end of the year, but
5'10", 160. He's more than 160. I'd say he's more like 185 or something like that. But, yeah, that's Arroyo.
My comps kind of suck, I guess. These just use the F scores, but none of those guys are like steady good. But I mean, Lux and
Holiday. I guess Holiday. That might be a good comp. He could be like a boring version of Jackson Holiday, like a more boring Jackson Holiday, I guess, like less flashy.
Yeah.
Number 2, starting pitcher Kade Anderson. We have not seen him pitch yet in the majors, but I think for me, he should have been the first pick in the draft. I would have picked him first if I was drafting, and he's my number 1 FYPD guy. Is Kade Anderson? I've got him 27th overall in my prospect rankings. My comp for Kade Anderson, if you want to throw some video up from when he was at LSU, you'll get that. My comp for Kade Anderson is Max Fried. Fastball, he throws 92 to 96 miles per hour, but he gets really good vert on it, up to 20 inches vert. He had by pitch movement stuff, like Stuff Plus, he has the second best fastball to Liam Doyle out of anyone that was in the draft, but he has way better secondaries than Liam Doyle. So that's the boon here. He has a 84 to 88 mile per hour slider. I threw a 55 out of 60 on the slider. He's got a 79 to 81 mile per hour curve. I threw a 55 out of 60 on the curve. Change up 81 to 85 miles per hour. I threw a 50 out of 60 on that. So 4 potential above average pitches, or 4 potential plus pitches here for Kade Anderson. Command a 45 out of 55. And he's a lefty, so it always helps to be a lefty. Just really solid player here. This guy's going to be like a number 2 starter. Like look at that body type. He's got the Max Fried body type even. Sure good command, good pitches all around. I think he's just going to be your classic, really good, like 10 to 15, top 10 to 20 starting pitcher. Like, I don't know if he'll ever be the elite. Like, he's not going to be like a Chase Burns, like striking out the world, but I think he's going to be your really solid pitcher where you draft your Max Fried, where you drafted when Sandy was good, your Sandy Alcantara, where you draft like your Christopher Sanchez this year. He's going to be kind of in that range, like your 10 to 20 starting pitcher type for fantasy. So, and plus he's going to be on the Mariners. So again, Mariners are really good at developing pitchers.
This year or next year? What do you think?
He could. I think he debuts this year. I've got him as a 2020, mid to late 2026 debut. Just look at, like, for instance, like Peyton Toley debuted for the Red Sox last year. We had Nolan McLean debut. Like, he could be like, that kind of timeline, like trade deadline type thing, right? Like, if the Mariners decide they're going to trade a pitcher at the deadline to get a hitter, then Kade Anderson could be the fill-in.
All right. Yeah,
$9 million, man. He got paid.
They don't have a lefty. When's the last Mariners lefty? It's been all righties, right?
Gilbert, yeah.
Castillo,
Kirby, Gilbert, Wu, Miller.
5 very good righties, but they have not had a lefty, and that's worth much since Robbie Ray? Is that going back too far? I don't know, but
yeah,
that can't hurt. Maybe they want a lefty in there to mix things up. So you said number 1 in first. He's your number 1?
First year player draft. He's my number 1 guy.
Okay.
If you're drafting first, pick him. First year player. All right. Number 1, though, for the Mariners is Colt Emerson. So Colt Emerson, shortstop. It sounds like he's going to break camp. They said they're going to give him a shot to break camp. If he does, I guess he's breaking as a third baseman. He is, like, third base fits him, I would say. He could play short, but I think that if he breaks, he's probably their third baseman, because I don't know who else they have there. They didn't
Polanco.
Polanco's gone. Yeah, Polanco's gone. They've got JP still for shortstop.
Suarez isn't gone yet, but are they trying to get Suarez back, or?
I haven't heard that they're trying to. So, and if they're trying to trade for Ketel Marte or for Brendan Donovan, then kind of sounds like, I don't know. But Colt Emerson, really solid player across the board here. 101 power, 104 hit, 110 discipline, 102 speed. Really good doubles hitter. What has he got on the extra base hit plus here, John? This guy is your classic 135. This is your classic doubles guy that is going to probably transition to power when he gets older. This is like your Freddie Freeman type shortstop third base who comes up and he's hitting 15 to 20 bombs. And then maybe in his prime, that turns into 25 to 30 bombs, I would say. Really good hitting profile. You see 80% contact rates, 92% zone contact. So really good hit tool here. Solid angles, gets to solid angles, good EVs, 104.3 90th EV. He's reportedly got to a 115 max, apparently, like in camps or something like that. But the most that I've seen on record is a 112. He hit this last spring training, 112 max EV. So there is a lot of power in there. So that's why I think these doubles are going to turn into home runs at some point. He does need to limit the ground balls. He has like a 50% ground ball rate. So that's what he needs to work on, is like hitting more balls in the air and hitting more line drives. But Colt Emerson, really good player, really solid plate approach. So 17% K rate, 12% walk rate. So really solid plate approach, really good hit. Just needs to start hitting the ball in the air more and get that off the ground. And I think that we have a really good player here for the Mariners. And like I said, he was 20 last year and could be breaking camp. That's how good he is.
Yeah, probably. Well, the ground ball right here. Okay, never mind. That's only 17 balls in play. So
yeah, that's only going to be his AAA data. But across the whole season, he had like I think it was a 50-ish, like high 40s ground ball rate on the season. So
probably won't be great. Probably won't be great right away. And for fantasy leagues, for like redraft stuff, we should check the ADP. Let's get the ADP dashboard on here one time.
It would be awesome if he's not great, because then you can buy low on him in Dynasty. If he comes out and his first 100 plate appearances suck, it is a total buy low guy.
It's going around pick 400. That's pretty aggressive. But yeah, people think he can make it, like you said.
Yep. So he actually did improve his batted ball data as he went up levels this year. So for instance, you mentioned only 7 barrels or something like that at AAA, but he had a 35% line drive rate in that small sample size with 41% ground ball rate. So his ground ball rates did improve, and he was hitting more extra base hits as the year went on. So this is like one of those guys who like was progressing as the year went on. And really good average EVs too. So like he's constantly hitting the ball hard, 16 bombs, 14 steals. So maybe rookie year, if he does break camp, maybe you get like 15 bombs and 10 steals or something like that. Kind of boring. With maybe a 260 batting average, 270 batting average, kind of boring, but I bet that explodes into a really good player once he kind of like gets older and gets closer to his peak.
Keep an eye on camp, I guess. Could be solid deeper league guy for this year.
Yep, for sure. So we almost did it, John. I guess actually when you splice this together,
no, we went
an hour.
We
Never
went
mind.
way over.
But anyway, that's the Mariners. You can follow us on the X at Fantasy Baseball for me, for John PGH, and then make sure you hit that subscribe button to MLB Data Warehouse so you can get all these awesome tools, get the F scores, get the extra base hit plus, get your adjusted WRC pluses for age to level. All that stuff is only found at MLB Data Warehouse. So click subscribe, pay the money. It's well worth it. It'll help you in your leagues. And then say that you subscribe because of me. There we go.
Don't lie.
All right.
Don't lie if it's not for Tim.
Yeah, don't lie. If it's for John, say, I'm a daily guy. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
Prospect sucks. All right. Peace out, everybody. We'll see you next time. Mariners.